So what are we doing here? What is this crazy carbless diet this mother has her children on? Is it good for them? And of course, the million-dollar question, does it work? Ladies and gentlemen, it works. I want to explain some of these numbers to you. So here is where we started. This is when I did my first YouTube video when I was excited. We were just starting the channel. We woke up, she was 12.5. Then we got to work that day. Within, well, the very next morning, she went down to a 7, then to a 6. We reduced her insulin at this point. She went down a little, or she went up a little bit, and then off to her father's for the weekend. She comes back to me, and as you can see, this number goes straight down. That's night number 1. This is night number 2. We reduced her insulin again here. No spike. We reduced it again here. She actually went down. So now she's at like 5.2 or 5.3, something like that. Back to dad's for the weekend. That's okay. She comes to me. I can get her down within 24 hours. I know that. This little spike here is because we reduced her insulin again and her system needs to stabilize out. Also, this could also be a lazy night too. What I find is if I'm too tired to make green juice for, it shows up in the fasting blood sugar the next day. So now, fast forward to today, we are down here. After 3 weeks, we are no longer in this area of the chart up here. We are in this area on much less insulin. I'm hoping to be insulin free by the end of the month, and if not, I'm pretty sure it'll happen by October, but I'll let you know. Okay, so what are we doing? Well, it's a pretty intense diet. Not gonna lie to you, it's not pretty. There's no meat. There's no dairy. That means no cheese, no milk. There's no starches of any kind. That means there's no bread, there's no gluten, there's no rice pasta, there's no brown rice no matter how healthy it is. There's not even potatoes or carrots because there's too much starch in it. What we're trying to do is get this pancreas to rest. We need it to take a vacation, rest and regenerate. So there's none of that stuff. There's not even any fruit, which was really hard for me to get used to because prior to this, I had a lot of fruit in my diet and I felt amazing. I mean, fruit's one of the best things in the world for you. It's so nutrient dense that I had a hard time saying, no, you can't have an apple. So why did I say it? Well, it doesn't matter how healthy it is. If the pancreas can't handle it, the pancreas can't handle it. So we don't give it yet. Once, in a couple months, if her blood sugar is looking really good and we start adding some of this stuff back and the pancreas is handling it, I can't wait to give her an apple and I bet you she can't wait to eat it. So we're looking forward to that day. Yes, there are vitamins in milk. I get these brochures every once in a while. They come home in their backpacks. This big brochure of all the vitamins in milk. Vitamin D, magnesium, fortified with this, that, and the other. I get it. We can't give her milk because milk gums up the system. It actually can gum up the ducts that the pancreas uses to get the insulin out into the bloodstream. So no milk. Why isn't there any meat? You don't have to insulin for it. Chicken's a good protein source. Ladies and gentlemen, no one's ever gotten better by eating more chicken. It just doesn't happen. So if you can think of a living body has so much healing energy, and then you're going to give it some meat to digest, which is very, very hard on the body to digest. It's going to take some energy to do that. And then you're going to give it some milk, which is going to gum up the system, and it's going to take so much energy to deal with that. And then you're going to decide not to buy organic. The body's got to filter out some pesticides. It's going to take some energy to do that. Before you know it, the amount left over for healing isn't that much at all. What you really want is a lot left over for healing energy. So yeah, I know that sounds a little spiritual, but really it's just a way to think about it. So I want you to think about that. So what are we doing? What are we eating? We are eating healthy fats and raw vegetables. Healthy fats coming from whole foods. Walnuts are amazing, almonds, things like this, and of course vegetables, and we do, like I said before, make them taste really good. And I'll be showing you how to do that, and I promise I'm not lying at all. Yeah, so healthy fats, raw vegetables, nutrient-dense supplements. Why supplements? Why aren't we eating nutrient-dense food? Because, well, we are eating nutrient-dense food, but what I'm specifically talking about are the seaweeds. And I don't know about your child, but my children, you know, seaweed, I personally cannot eat the seaweed. Actually, Zoe can because she's really motivated, so she'll just suck that back in a smoothie, but I can't even stand the smell. So we put it in little plastic capsules. It's actually vegetable silica or something like that, capsules, so that she can get these things into her system and not have to smell, taste, or experience that at all, which I'm pretty sure most children would be like, thank you for that. So how did we come across this? When Zoe was in the hospital and we came out and she said she wanted to search for a cure, she really didn't believe that it was incurable, one of the first things that we found was this book. This is a book by Dr. Gabriel Cousens that says there is a cure for diabetes. We found it on Amazon, I ordered it Rush, it was at my door in 48 hours. Now, if you're a science geek like me, you're going to love this book. There is tons and tons of research and why omega-3s are good for you, stuff like that, triglycerides. If you really want to know the nitty-gritty of what we're doing here, this is a good book. There's a lot of recipes at the back. Unfortunately, a lot of the recipes aren't really designed for a child's palate, nor are they designed for a nut-free facility such as a school. So we've had to make a lot of alterations and use our own recipes, and you know, that's fine because I enjoy doing that, so I don't mind at all. One of the mistakes that people make on this diet is too many nuts. I mean, let's face it, when you want something to eat and you've got some really great nuts here or a stick of celery, I know I keep going back to the stick of celery. It's a no-brainer which most people would choose, but if you're going to talk about something that makes you feel good, you've got to be cognizant of that. More vegetables, less nuts, and you'll need to play around with the ratios if you choose to do this at home. It's a harsh transition, and I cannot stress that enough. One of the things that I would recommend is that you put yourself on this diet so that you can understand just how dehydrating this can be on a body. You really need to increase your liquids. You need to understand how tired your child may be at some point. Understand that they may get irritable, not get worried when they don't want to play a board game with you. The transition can take a little while. We're talking about going from a standard American diet all the way to a raw food diet, and on something like this, you don't have the enzymes for it right now. Your body has to build those up, and that doesn't happen overnight. You know, Zoe was resilient, her transition time, maybe a week. Mine, a good 3 weeks for sure. I did not have an easy time with it. Maybe what we'll do is I'll write a little bit more about that, put it on my blog at Tumblr. It's Zoe the Former Type 1, so we'll post a link for that down below. Okay, so where do you start? Where I started was I needed Zoe to get used to salads. I needed her to get used to the texture and the idea of having more salads, so I would take her out to restaurants and buy her the biggest, baddest Caesar salad I could get my hands on, dripping with bacon and dairy dressing, but that's just what needed to happen in the beginning. I don't think she would have enthusiastically jumped into lettuce with a little bit of olive oil drizzled on it. So, and don't worry about that. There are much better dressings than a little bit of olive oil we'll get used to. But I wanted to let you know where I started with that. So where do you start? Start anywhere. Start at the beginning, wherever you think that beginning is. Start by using some of the recipes that Zoe and Kira are going to show you. Start by getting your child involved in the kitchen and making things together. Start by learning together. Start by watching these videos with your child, because let me tell you, their motivation is going to be the success and the key to all of this. And I really hope you do try it, because, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You could fail. You might fail. Maybe not, though. I mean, Dr. Cousens can cure 2 or 3 out of every 10 type 1 diabetes cases, and maybe your child is one of them and you just don't know it yet. If you don't try, I know exactly what's going to happen. You're going to fail before you even start, because you never tried. So I'm really encouraging everybody to try here. And if your child has the courage and the bravery to attempt this, I'd like you to comment back with your child's first name and what they're going to do, so that we can publicly recognize them on this channel. This is a big thing. This is a huge step. You know, we're talking about curing the incurable here, and let me tell you, I'm tired of waiting for the medical community to come up with a cure. I mean, how much time and how much money do you need before you realize there is no medicine that just cures a pancreas? I think we need to step up to the plate here and do it on our own and move this thing forward, and I hope that you will do that with me. So until then, I hope to see you soon. Thanks so much.